The Oliver family, always known as the perfect family in the eyes of their neighbors. Everything seemed harmonious. The successful Mr. Jack, the struggling Mrs. Scarlett, and the cheerful children. However, behind the curtains of the house's windows, a small crack began to grow into a chasm of suffering. It all began with the arrival of a mysterious woman who appeared like a thick fog, shrouding Mr. Jack's mind and heart. Jack, the father, began to change. The warmth he once gave had now become a burning anger. The climax was a scene witnessed by Emily, their eldest daughter. She saw her father making out with the woman in the backyard. Emily harbored this trauma. When she plucked up the courage to tell him what she saw, her father's response was unexpected. Not regret, but an explosive outburst. Father became so angry with Emily that he splashed hot soup on her. Jack, once a protective figure, had now become a merciless, hurtful monster. The devastation was indescribable. In their confusion, Mr. Jack suddenly went on a business trip to the island. The Oliver family knew he had only been gone for a few days, but the reality outside the house was very different. The neighbors were already aware that Mr. Jack had been gone for years, as if he had vanished into thin air. The father's physical absence, accompanied by a series of gripping supernatural terrors, seemed as if the universe itself was demanding justice. The peaceful house had now become a stage for dark creatures. Emily and her family witnessed horror after horror. At the back kitchen door, the ghost of a woman with long dreadlocks was seen watching every night. Sometimes, a ball of hot fire would suddenly appear above the roof of the house, terrifying the neighbors. And for no apparent reason, numerous scorpions of unusual size appeared inside the house. The family lived in fear. They began to realize that these horrors were not mere coincidences, but the result of a supernatural force deliberately sent. Mrs. Scarlett, the mother, must bear an incredibly heavy double burden. She is a victim of betrayal, but also a hero to her children. Her role is complex, enduring heartache while struggling to maintain the family's finances. She harbors deep heartache, as if taken by magic, and she must witness the destruction of the family she built. It turns out that all this terror is the work of the mysterious woman who uses witchcraft to destroy the happiness of the Oliver family. This magic is believed to be extremely powerful, like the command of a king that must be obeyed. The sorcery the woman used was a high-level black magic. The power of the magic rendered its victims obedient and powerless, as if whatever the woman said was destined to happen. Mr. Jack, affected by this magic, saw the woman as if she resembled his wife, Scarlett. Jack did not return home, but returned to the illusion created by the magic. This magic had replaced his wife with a deception, leaving father unaware that he had been gone for years, leaving his family in mourning. Although this magic initially comes from those who want to cause harm, there is also a force that can counter it: the prayers of those who have been hurt. The burden of suffering and grief experienced by Emily and her mother is a powerful energy. Emily, who had to grow up with sadness and pain, and Scarlett, who defended her family, became human shields. This story of sorcery seems to symbolize that their suffering is not without reward. The prayers of those who have been hurt are the most powerful, and one day they will have a backlash effect on the perpetrator and all the evil they have done. After years of witchcraft terror in Harlan City, Mrs. Scarlett decided to take drastic action. She would become the sole breadwinner for her family. This decision led her and Emily to move to Jerome, a town that offered greater job opportunities. However, the struggle meant leaving behind whatever little security they had. They decided to travel long distances, taking the overnight train, the route considered the most economical. At the busy station, as Scarlett and Emily waited for the train to arrive, Emily felt a cold gaze from afar. A woman in a long white dress stood on the deserted platform, her long hair flowing, staring straight at them. The woman was dressed in old-fashioned clothing, as if from the colonial era. "Mom, why does she keep looking at us?" Emily whispered, tugging on her mother's arm. Scarlett turned. The woman was still standing there, unmoving. Scarlett tried to ignore it, thinking it was just Emily panicking. When the train arrived, they boarded the car listed on their tickets. Car 13. It was strange. The carriage was completely empty. The station had been bustling, and this train should have been sold out. Scarlett felt the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end, but she forced herself to sit down. From the window, Emily saw the woman in the white dress again. She was now across the room, smiling faintly at them before the train started. For the first 40 minutes, the carriage was completely quiet. Suddenly, a few people began to arrive. They sat silently, their faces pale, without bags, and not a single sound between them. They sat like dolls who had just been activated. A frightened Scarlett tried to calm Emily down. She decided to go to the restroom, hoping to find the train driver or a train attendant. The lights in the hallway suddenly went out completely. When she opened the restroom door, she was surprised to see a man in a train driver's uniform standing inside, facing the wall.
"Sir, why are the lights off?"
Scarlett asked, panicked. The train driver turned slowly, his face stiff, and nodded without saying a word. Scarlett immediately closed the door and ran back to her seat. However, in their seats, Scarlett saw Emily frozen. In the seat next to Emily sat the woman in the white dress. Scarlett didn't dare approach. She slowly retreated to the dining car. There, she found the waiter and told him what had happened in car 13. The attendant looked frightened and called the main driver. The driver checked Scarlett's ticket and said urgently, "That car you're in hasn't been used for a long time." The main driver then escorted Scarlett back to her seat. This time, they entered a crowded, brightly lit car. Car 13, which Scarlett had previously boarded, had disappeared without a trace. Before they parted, the driver gave her a small note. "Read this when you get home. It's for your peace of mind. Burn it after reading it." Upon arriving at Jerome, Scarlett opened the note. The driver wrote that the ghostly woman on the platform was most likely trying to rescue Scarlett from the mysterious car she had entered. That car was another dimension, filled with spirits trapped in an eternal journey. The ghostly woman was trying to warn her. Scarlett and Emily rented a house in the suburbs of Jerome, far from the hustle and bustle of the city and affordable. It was a large, old house, and during the pandemic, they were the only residents. The first nights in the house were lonely, eerie, and full of strangeness. Small but intense terrors began to occur, as if the horrors of the old city and the train were following them. The terror began with a local poltergeist phenomenon. While Emily was focused on studying, the kitchen cupboard suddenly rattled, and several plates fell to the ground without being touched. They often heard the sound of their bedroom doorknob jingling or loud knocks on the door at night. Each time the door opened, there was no one in the dark hallway. One night, Scarlett was in the bathroom. Suddenly, she heard a woman's laughter coming from outside. When she came out, she found Emily staring blankly into a corner. "Son, what did you hear?" asked Scarlett. "Someone was watching me from the kitchen window, Mom." "She had slanted eyes and long hair," Emily replied, her voice trembling. Emily saw the ghost of a woman with slanted eyes who had been following them. The climax came when Scarlett wanted to rest. She saw Emily fast asleep in her room, and she decided to go to the restroom outside. While inside, she heard Emily calling her. "Mom, are you outside?" "Yes, just a moment, son," Scarlett replied. However, when she came out of the restroom, Emily was still sleeping soundly in bed. Scarlett panicked again. Who was calling her? Was it the ghost of the woman often seen pacing the backyard? Or was it someone else? Eventually, Scarlett learns a chilling local rumor. The rental property is built on an old cemetery, and every year, residents suddenly move out due to harassment or mysterious deaths. Scarlett realizes she can't escape her problems. As long as she carries trauma and heartache, sorcery will continue to send out negative energy, drawing all sorts of terror into her and Emily's lives. Their family is now caught between human magic and the hauntings of ghosts. After experiencing a series of terrors in her new apartment, Mrs. Scarlett began seeking help. She visited a spiritual advisor on the outskirts of town, a man respected for his expertise in the occult. There, the advisor explained that the sorcery cast by the mysterious woman was intended not only to destroy her household, but also to place a curse on the entire Oliver family. Sorcery, the advisor said, is a coercive decree. For it to be fully effective, the family it harms must also be destroyed. 3 years later, Emily graduated. Scarlett managed to build a small business and buy a modest home. They lived peacefully. The fireball above the house, the scorpion, and the ghost in the rented house slowly disappeared. They managed to undo the effects of the magic not with a shaman, but through perseverance. The prayers of the afflicted had become stronger. However, in their hometown, bad news spread. The mysterious woman, who was the mistress, was found dead suddenly in her home. According to rumors, before she died, she was in severe pain and kept screaming for mercy, as if being chased by a dreadlocked woman and hit with a blunt object. Emily wasn't surprised. She knew the sorcery was now calling for the perpetrator. Meanwhile, in the Apostle Islands, Mr. Jack was finally found. He returned to his hometown. However, he wasn't the same Mr. Jack he once was. He looked gaunt, dazed, and repeatedly asked Scarlett, "Where am I? Why have I been sleeping here all this time?" It turned out that all these years he hadn't gone anywhere, hiding in a dark room, cared for by an old woman who was none other than the mistress's mother. When she died, the magic was released, and Jack was thrown back into reality. Scarlett and Emily stared at their father, who was now nothing but an empty shell left over from the trauma. They knew that he was physically back, but his soul had been embraced forever by the magic he once followed. The Oliver family was no longer perfect, but they were now free from the curse. They chose to move on, leaving Mr. Jack alone. Trauma never goes away. It simply changes form, from a ghostly terror to a silence that reminds us that every crime will be punished, whether by nature or by the prayers of those who are hurt.